Is the invasion at the southern border worse than we thought? Find out today as we uncover what's really going on. I'm Drenda, and this is Drenda on Guard. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, all you mighty warriors of truth. Thank you for supporting the channel. When you like, share, and subscribe, you're empowering us to spread the truth to those who might never know what's going on otherwise. Not the mainstream media's spin on the facts, not some crazy Twitter opinion, the truth. We have a lot to discuss today, so let's jump right into it.
Shocking new details of the scene inside New York's largest hotel that's housing illegal migrants. Our next guest is shedding light on his time at the Row NYC hotel, reporting a 10-year-old being drunk in her hotel room without her parents on site. He's also sharing images of trashed rooms, violence in the street, and a slew of staff incident reports. Here with details, Carlos Arellano. Carlos, it's really great to have you on. Appreciate this insight. Tell us what you I know you no longer work there, but you and your former colleagues were experiencing at this hotel.
Just a lot of people who are they don't appreciate what they have, and they come here with the mindset of the way they live back at their home country, and they think there's no rules or no laws to be followed here.
Did you ever feel endangered while you were working there, that things were getting just so out of hand?
Every day, and former coworkers as well. A lot of former coworkers have reached out and are happy that I did the interview, and they're saying this place deserves to be shut down, that they fear for their life every day as well as I did.
So this hotel used to be a tourist hotel. It's now housing illegal migrants. Has there ever been a time that you or your colleagues recall that this hotel was used to house American homeless people?
Not myself, but I did hear. We would hear about plenty hotels that used to house homeless people and kick them out. Yeah.
So tell us about this child that you found. Is that the 10-year-old who was found intoxicated? Is this a regular thing that you see children by themselves without their parents in these hotel rooms?
It's an everyday thing. Every day we find about 10 kids alone in their hotel rooms, either drinking or doing drugs. With weapons will be in the room, but we're not allowed to go in there. We're not allowed to take anything from them. And it's basically a free-for-all in this hotel.
Yeah. Do you know if the parents are indeed the parents of these children, or is there any indication about that, or do you feel like you're not sure about that?
No, we find fake passports, fake Social Security cards, all kinds of fake documents in this hotel every day.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me that, were there any consequences, by the way, when you found this 10-year-old? Because not far away from where you're at, there was an ABC producer who went out to dinner. He died unexpectedly on the way, and his wife was arrested. His American wife was arrested because it turned out that through this tragedy, they found out that their children were alone in a hotel room, and she was arrested for endangerment, the day after her husband died unexpectedly. Has anybody been charged or held accountable for children left alone in hotel rooms?
No, they never are. And if they are kicked out of the hotel, they get sent to a processing center at Port Authority where they get given a second hotel. So say a husband decides to beat his wife up, he will get kicked out, and they will just process him into a single men's hotel. So you break the law. It's not we're going to report you to the proper authorities. It's let's give you a second or a third hotel room, and you still stay in the city.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're facing the same consequences as Americans. Sounds like a protected class. Carlos, you are a very brave whistleblower, and I think the American people are very grateful for you for letting us know where our tax dollars are going. Thank you.
I'm standing here at our southern border. That's the Rio Grande River right behind me. I'm in Brownsville, Texas. Title 42 is going to expire in just a few hours. We're seeing an invasion at our southern border, and there are right now over 22,000 illegal immigrants right across the river. You can see the lights. You can see people camping out. You can see a fire right there. If you look, you can see them. They're waiting. They're waiting for Title 42 to expire. And then the invasion we're going to see is going to be massive. We already have the worst illegal immigration in the history of our country. And in just a few hours, it's getting worse. Joe Biden, this is your fault. The people who are killed crossing illegally, that's your fault. The women who are sexually abused crossing illegally, that's your fault. The children who are brutalized crossing illegally, that's your fault. The people dying of drug overdoses, over 100,000 last year, that is your fault. Come down here, President Biden. Stop hiding in the basement. Stop pretending this misery is not your fault. Stop it. This is not humane. This is not compassionate. This is cruel.
The United States is being invaded like never before. And make no mistake about it, this is a planned and intentional invasion. In case you haven't heard, Title 42 was lifted by the Biden administration, and illegal immigrants at the southern border have begun making their way into America in droves. Of course, that's not what the mainstream media would have you believe. Sources like CNN and Fox News will tell you that illegal immigration has gone down ever since the change was made. All you have to do is ignore all of the obvious evidence that proves otherwise. Countless videos are surfacing where thousands of people are making their way into the country with very little resistance. In fact, it seems that many of those who would cross the border were given gifts upon their arrival. Yes, you heard it right, gifts. According to ABC News, the Biden administration gave more than 300,000 smartphones to migrants. The cost of doing so? Over $360,000 per day. That's money coming out of our pockets as American taxpayers. The phones are meant to track the newcomers who are awaiting court dates, according to ICE. And it's all a part of the Alternatives to Detention Program, or ATD for short. John Fear, the Director of Investigations at the Center for Immigration Studies and a former senior advisor at the Department of Homeland Security, called the program a costly failure while speaking with the Washington Free Beacon last month, claiming thousands of migrants don't engage or keep up with the programs and just disappear. Here's a quote. The Alternatives to Detention Program has already proven to be a costly failure, with thousands of aliens disappearing from monitoring every year. And there's no reason to think this will be any different. Officials at the border told Fox News they believe there were nearly 600,000 gotaways during the 2022 fiscal year. Gotaways are potential illegal immigrants who were spotted but not turned away or apprehended. That's reportedly up from just 389,000 gotaways in 2021 and only about 60,000 in 2020. But gotaways are just those who weren't registered as they passed through. If we're talking about all undocumented immigrants that have crossed the border, you'd be surprised to know that since March of 2021, there hasn't been a single month where at least 150,000 weren't encountered at the border. That's right, 150,000 a month attempting to cross the border every month since 2021. With Title 42 gone, more people than ever before will flood into our nation. Former acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Mark Morgan, criticized current White House immigration policy during an interview with the National Desk, saying, "The reality is business has never been as good for the cartels as it is right now under this administration's open border policies. The executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies, Mark Krikorian, said the situation is already out of hand. If you can't successfully control and track who's coming into your country, then that's an enormous vulnerability, an enormous national security vulnerability. And he's right. If we have no idea who's coming into our country by the thousands, then who's to say that they aren't dangerous criminals? Well, according to this article by Breitbart News, the odds aren't looking good. In the days of the Trump administration, there were 14 people apprehended on the FBI's Terrorist Screening Database, or TSDB for short. That's 14 terrorists that we know of who tried to get through the border and into our country but stopped. The Biden border, however, seems to be a magnet for terrorists because this fiscal year alone, there have been 80 migrants apprehended on the TSBD. 5 of them were caught on the same day in the same sector near Arizona's border as soon as Title 42 was suspended. Those are terrorists that our government already know about and have information on. But what about dangerous criminals who we know nothing about? The Federation for American Immigration Reform, or FAIR, lists these migrants' crimes on their website, fairus.org. And I'd just like to read you a few so you know what we're really up against. In January this year, Jose Hernandez was arrested for sexually assaulting a girl under 12 years old on multiple occasions. He is 31 years old. Also in January, Carlos Lara Balcazar was charged with the murder of Maria Rios, who left behind 3 daughters and 4 grandchildren. In February, Brian Marquez allegedly murdered his roommate, another illegal alien, after a drunken altercation. In March, Jesus Silva was charged with sexually abusing a girl under the age of 10 in Beverly Hills, Texas. The girl was a resident in a foster home. These are just some of the more recent crimes, and sadly, there are way too many for me to report on in one video. But I'm sharing this with you so that you understand why conservatives get so upset about open borders. No, we don't hate people from other countries. We don't think that they're all bad people. But when you open your borders indiscriminately, terrible things happen to innocent people, many of them children, because there's no good system to separate the good from the bad. Don't you think these little girls deserve justice? If we let anybody and everybody in, how many more families and children will suffer? If you still aren't convinced that this is a national security threat, then perhaps this will change your mind. Take a look.
Shocking sight off Sunny Isles Beach. About a dozen people jumping off of a boat.
Officials say these were Chinese migrants swimming to shore. Local 10's Bridget Matter is live in Sunny Isles Beach with new details. Bridget.
Border Patrol says 10 Chinese migrants were taken into custody. Now Homeland Security is investigating. U.S. Border Patrol is investigating a Chinese migrant landing in Sunny Isles Beach as a possible smuggling event. Just after 11:30 Monday morning near the Newport fishing pier, cell phone video shows a group of migrants jumping off of a boat. The migrants made their way to shore, including this woman with a backpack.
It was a little family. It was a dad and a mom, of course, and then one little kid, about 3-4 years old.
People on the beach, like Diego Quevedo, watched as they ran ashore.
When we came outside, we just saw a bunch of Asian people that were being stopped, and nothing. Apparently, they said they came in a boat, and there was about 10, 15 of them.
Some were led away in handcuffs. Others were lined up against a wall by U.S. Border Patrol. Homeland Security tweeted out the photo of the suspected boat they sailed in. Border Patrol's Miami sector is investigating this, and they are asking anyone with any photos or videos of this landing to please send it in to Homeland Security. For now, we're live in Sunny Isles Beach. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Chinese migrants are using Biden's weak borders for their benefit. And it seems to me that this administration is completely corrupt and complicit. If you were trying to destroy this country as president, how would you do it? Would you vilify half of your citizens as white supremacists? Would you open borders so that our greatest enemies can swarm in whenever they want? Would you turn a blind eye to all of the terrorists and criminals pouring in and silence those who try to talk about it? Either Biden and his handlers are so foolish that they're swiftly and efficiently destroying America by accident, or they're downright evil, that they want to watch this country burn to the ground. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I truly believe, as I talk about in my book, Fight Like Heaven, that there is a plan and a plot to bring down the freest, greatest nation in the world, America. And with America at the helm fighting for freedom, the world itself has hope. But when you destroy America and you destroy our Constitution, you destroy justice and you create a two-tier justice system, you no longer enforce immigration laws, you are undermining and bringing down the nation. When you silence and penalize people, you're going to get less of their voice and you're going to get more of the indiscriminate people coming across the border without any vetting, without knowing what's going on, like the 85,000 children that we have lost that came across our border. There's been testimony in Congress before others, the Republican Congress, and sharing people that are working for the Biden administration, whistleblowing and saying in tears, we have lost 85,000 children and do not know where they are. Many turned over to sponsors who trafficked them and put them into slave labor right here in the United States of America. I do believe, as I say in the book, the World Economic Forum and those that are playing high-end players in the deep state are playing America for destruction in order to bring us all into their plan for a new Green Deal, a great reset, and a new world order. I share all of those things in my book, Fight Like Heaven, as well as the scriptures that share these things and facts. I want to encourage you to pray and stand up, speak up. I want to thank you for viewing, for watching, for sharing, for subscribing, and letting me know what you think about these issues. We must speak up, stand up, just like Paul stood up as a Roman citizen and said, is it lawful to flog a Roman citizen? We have to say, is it lawful what you're doing to our southern border and to our nation? Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay on guard.